Hi everybody, this is Liz with 143 Handmade, and I am here today to do day 1 of Junk Journal July 2023. My paper didn't print out quite right, so the 23 didn't come off, show up, but that's okay. Today is day 1, good vibes, and what I did is, because my dogs were really going off during this video, I decided to go ahead and just speed it up, because most of it's just me sorting through this paper anyways. And, go ahead and try and voiceover. So let me know what you guys think. And so this box is the box it's my cleanup box, is how I think of it, because at the end of the night what I do is anything that I don't have time, don't feel like dealing with or anything like that, I will go ahead and just stick in the box, so that way when I come out the next day I still come out to a clean table. And with all the cats in the house, it's, it kind of frees up the table for them to play on at night too. But, so what I did is I decided to go through all these papers and pull out all the ones that gave me good vibes and let those be my pages. And have a wide variety of papers in here. Cardstocks, book pages, these are the white sheets out of an encyclopedia, that was some junk mail, some cardstock that I tea-dyed, I have all kinds of paper, and a bunch of it, like, I love it, but how many pages did I really need in this one journal, right? You got to draw a line somewhere, right? So, because there's something I love about most paper. I have a pretty paper problem. And my husband teases me when we go out and about in the stores, especially after the holidays when everything's on clearance. I'll just wander around the clearance area with the gift wrap and just look at all the pretty paper. But anyways, so now I've kind of narrowed it down somewhat and setting the scraps aside. And now I'm going to start folding papers. At this point, I don't worry about order. Sometimes I pre-fold individual ones like this, especially when I have a bunch of different sizes. I will go ahead and just fold them individually like that, just one on top of the other. So that way they're all roughly the right size. I may have to adjust slightly as I go on, but yeah, see, it was starting to get squishy, so I shifted things so that way I could just fold right on the book itself, the cover. I've go ahead and decided to lay down a few with my pages. I've got to fit another one that's kind of an odd size. I decided to embrace that oddness over there. I really liked it. It was very interesting. And I filled in with this book page that was, the book page was not super strong on its own, so I was a little worried about including it in a journal, just, binding it in by itself. But this way, it's a great use of this page. It gives all that yummy caramel color, but it's reinforced by being glued to this other thin paper as well. That's just some packing paper that I've used as a background as I was, or not a background, but as a scrap page when I was just experimenting. So it's got all kinds of little, things on it. And here's another page that I absolutely loved and I wanted to use, but it was just too small. And so I just added this piece that's just a grocery sack onto it, as opposed to the packing paper, and they have two different textures. I just absolutely love maps. This is the map that I happen to have in there. I actually don't end up using it because it just wasn't quite the right size. I love this picture of this desert, sunset, sunrise, I'm not sure which, but it's beautiful. And there we go. Lots and lots of pages. Actually, don't even know how many I didn't count. But this is, that was a little experiment that I had done with just a bunch of junk mail envelopes that made it on into this book. Decided I wanted another page or two. So I took some of these half pages and I played with it for a minute, deciding, see, I've got it lined up on the page that's the right size. So that way, it kind of gave me an outline to, a size to shoot for, so I didn't make it too big. There we go. And then, like I said, I wanted to just try, this is, a journal for me just to play with, and so I wanted to put in a lot of different textures and places for me to experiment. So that's why that junk mail envelope made it in there, and just a bunch of different things. You see me fiddling with it here, getting all the pages to fit. Sometimes I do this before I bind it, sometimes I wait till after I bind it. There's not like a hard and fast rule for me. It just kind of depends how I'm feeling that day, just what works. So there we go. I'm happy with the pages now. I'm grabbing my crocodile and my thread so that way I can bind it. I just did a super simple binding here. 2 holes at the top, 2 holes at the bottom, and a little lace. I didn't even go down the middle. You can do this technique on lightweight journals like this. I would not recommend it if you're going to be putting a lot of weight into it though. And it does pose a few problems for partial pages. You will have to go ahead and glue those partial pages to some of the other pages in the center if you do it this way. But it's just, I like it for quick, simple journals. I don't use it for, like I said, anything heavy duty. I don't think I've sold any with this method on them. But you totally could. Just, you know, it's just a different method. I would recommend, these are awfully, you know, high and low. I would recommend bringing them towards the center a little bit better. And then gluing in my Good Vibes tag label. Thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget to like and subscribe.